Well, here's a piece of equipment that you don't see every day. In fact, most people probably are not even aware that this model exists. It's a Sony EV C3. This is an 8mm video tape recorder player. No tuner, just AV inputs and outputs, and it's for regular 8mm tapes only, and only has monaural sound. I got this one several years ago given to me, and it is dead. Let's look at it. So this is my politically incorrect Video 8 machine that was given to me years ago, an EV C3. It doesn't work. It's capacitors for sure. I thought, what the heck? Why not get this thing working? And you're wondering what I mean when I say politically incorrect? Well, yeah, I can't say that anymore. Master and slave. Can't say that word anymore. Shame on you, Sony. You can't call something as master and a slave. That is just bad. I know hard drives used to do it too back in the IDE days. But now you have to call it a client and a server, or a main and a client. Some of our old access points that we used had a switch on the back. MA, SL. Not anymore. Not anymore. This thing I know doesn't work, so let's rip it apart and see if we can make this thing work. It's not a high 8 deck, unfortunately. It's just a standard 8, but what the heck? It's still it's still got a cool factor because it's a little tiny little 8mm VCR. And there's always a cool factor to that. Plus the fact that I can sell this thing if I got it working. I forget precisely what it was doing. It was, I got this, it was owned by an old friend who passed away a few years ago, and a bunch of his old stuff was left to me. A digital 8 camera, for one, and a Kaya filter. No, actually, no, it wasn't a digital 8 camera. It was an 8mm camera, but he had the Kaya filter on it. And this, and a 3/4 inch machine. I forget what this is doing, so let's just plug it in and see what the heck's going on with it. I'm sure it's capacitors that are bad, and I'm sure this thing's got surface mounted caps in it too. So let's turn it on. It's on. Let's see whether it even loads. Okay, it loads the tape. That's a good sign. That part works. Play. Yeah, and here's the problem. But this thing's playing in LP, and this is not an LP tape. This is an SP tape. How's pause look? Yeah, it looks like crap because there's capacitors that have failed in here. So let's get this thing apart and start changing out caps and see whether this one will work. We'll start in the preamp. Right here in the head preamp. Unplug the power. And because this is likely where the surface mounted caps are going to be on this one. I think the rest of them, a lot of the other ones are through hole. But there's going to definitely be surface mounted caps for sure in here. Now this should actually lift the whole deck out if I'm not mistaken. If I release the face off of the unit. I've got to take the bottom off too to do this. But the whole deck should lift out, and then I can get at the mechanism. Actually, no, I probably won't sell this thing. I will hang on to it for 8mm conversions. I use an EVS 7000 now, but who knows how long that's going to run before it blows up. So in all likelihood, I'll end up hanging onto this thing for myself. If only this was high 8, wouldn't that be nice? Okay, I'm just looking to see what I got to take out to take this mechanism out. There's another screw right there. And I think that I've never taken one of these apart before. The mechanism lifts out, and it should just be plugged in by a ribbon cable on the bottom here, which it is. And what I need to do to take this out, because I could unplug it. I want to just get the preamp out of here, because that's the area I want to concentrate on first, is the preamp. But I'm going to unplug the whole deck from the main board. Fold down this other board first, unplug it. See, this is how VCR should have been, all of them should have been made like this. Where you can just pop boards down out of the way to access things. Access plugs and connectors and stuff. Fold that board down, and now I can unplug the main chassis. Unplug that cord. And now I can lift the mechanism out. There should be one more plug over here that I can take out, and one more plug down here. Now I can work on this unit, because this is going to be the one that's got the surface mounted caps, and they're going to be inside this can for sure. Just be able to take it out of here. What holds it in place is a couple screws. It out like that. Unplug the video head, and aha! There they are, right there. We're going to change these ones out and then try the unit. And I bet you if I change these capacitors out here, all these ones, that very likely will fix this machine, because I believe these are the only surface mounted caps on this one. And the fault that I'm having with it not playing back at the correct speed is most certainly is a capacitor problem, for sure. And I've got the capacitors here to replace these. So we'll just undo the plugs here and take out the unit itself. Of course, one plug always doesn't want to come out, right? There we go. And the ground screw back. Let's start rebuilding. So we're going to use the tear out and tack down method. Just rotate and pull the old caps out of the way. This one's a 10 at 16 volts. So I have a new one here, 10 at 16. Actually, is it the same? Yeah, 10 at 16. So we're going to just tack it down on the board. Prep the cap. just had to have my car in at the shop. I went to drive it the other day and it wouldn't turn on. And I had an electrical failure on an electric car. Go figure. The high voltage disconnect relay for the battery decided that it wasn't going to energize anymore. So they had to take, this is warranty so it didn't cost me anything, but they had to drop the battery out of the car to change the relay, because the relay is attached on top of the battery. So big job to change a $5 part. So I just went and picked it up today. Seem to be having trouble coordinating these pliers. Can't get my fingers in there. It's kind of a tight spot, so I'm going to tack it in using some pliers to hold it in place. Next one is a 22 microfarad, 6 volt. I think my voltage will be fine on this. 22 would be, where's my 22s? Probably getting low on 22s. What's this one, 10? 33. Ooh, is this 22? Am I getting right down to the wire on 22s? That's a 20, that's a 22 there. I may have to dip into my other stack of caps, which are a little higher profile than these. These ones are good because they fit in the can, but I'm going to be running a little bit short because a bunch of 22s in here that have to be replaced. Nice thing about this is this thing hasn't been turned on in so long that the board's not wet, it's dry. And 47 over here. That's a 47. What is this one? Is this also a 47? It's a 47 at 16. That'll be fine. Another 47 over here. Oops. One at 50. One at 50 right there. To pick up a couple more of these capacitor kits. They're quite useful for these low profile caps for doing this type of work. And I do have a machine that does need hundreds of caps, well, probably a good 100 caps replaced on it. And it is a Panasonic AG series that I own that I've shown it off before when I did the board repair. It had a smash board and it's just been sitting in storage for the last couple of years, and it's one of these ones that I'm kind of humming and hawing about whether I'm going to get around to fixing it, and I think I probably will get around to recapping it sometime later this year. And I'm going to do it all with these. I'm not going to replace them with surface mounted. They're just, these ones are just as, they work out just as well, and they're fairly easy to work with. You get these low profile caps. They can go into these little circuit boards like this and get the job done. I think the rest of these are all 22s. Oh, there's another one over here. It's a 47. That's 16. I think the rest of these are all 22s. So I got to find 6 22 microfarad caps. I should have some in another container here. This was a 47. You can tell this one's been leaking. You can see the corrosion on the board. And the rest of these are all 22s. I've got a bunch of them here. They're not quite as low profile as the other, but they're going to be good enough for this. So let's just change them out. Yeah, these ones were leaking too. See, I can bend these things over and done so that the cover will go on it. Oops, that one's not tacked down right, is it? Redo this one. One of the benefits of bending them over when you're done is if they're not soldered down right, they'll come off the board. One last cap, and then we'll put this thing together and see if it plays. I'm betting it will. See, I diagnosed this thing a while back, but I just didn't have a bunch of small caps to replace it with. I didn't have enough inventory. But I picked up a capacitor kit which had a lot of different values in it, so I had some spares from when I did that EVW300, or sorry, the EVS 3000. Yeah, so I had some spares. I think I'm going to pick up a few more of these kits just so I've got them on hand, because it's always good to have these small low voltage cap kits for these for redoing these surface mounted jobs like that. Okay, all the caps are replaced. Let's put the cover back on this. I got everything plugged in. Get this wire around here out of the way. Drop the chassis in place and put a couple screws in to hold it in place. Should be able to find. Oh, I see some more leakage on this bottom board here. I wonder if it's serious or not. I should take a look at the bottom board here before I fire this thing up. It may not be too bad, but I do see some traces where it looks like where there's some corrosion from the top right here. So maybe I'll take a look. I can see right in this area here. Something's leaked in there, that's for sure. I'll swing the bottom board down and take a look at it. It should swing out of the way. Oh yeah, big cap here's gone bad. Yeah, there's a big Elna 10 by 470 is leaked. We're going to change that one while we're at it. This red cap here is puked onto the board. And this is just a through hole one, so we'll just pop it out from this side of the board over here. C219. This one is a 10 volt 470. I'm sure I've got one of those. Probably one of them in my little kit over here. That's the biggest it's got. Oh, it may only go to 220. Yeah, it only goes to 220, but I do have a 470 in my other kit. Here. Okay, let's see if that board's clear. Well, the moment of truth. Will it or won't it work? Find out in a minute. Line out, video and audio. Turn on the power. Tape has been kind of crunched a bit here. Which one's play? That one? I have a picture. And I have sound. Excellent! I now have an 8mm VCR that works. Gotta like it. Sure all the buttons line up. Fast forward. Yep. Rewind. Yep. Fast forward or play. Pause. Search forward. Search backwards. Counter reset. Yeah. Let's see. Slow. Still adjust. Or still. This thing's supposed to have slow motion on it. How do I do slow? It says slow, still, adjust. Okay, well there's the adjustment. Stops it from jittering. I do believe this unit is working. And actually looking very good. I tell you, these little units are actually kind of cool. Just to watch them work because they're so small, right? They're so small, compact mechanism. This thing didn't even require any tape path alignment. It's playing perfectly. I checked to make sure that the guides are actually tight and not loose. Oh, that one's not too tight. Neither is that one, but they're not out of alignment because the unit is playing perfectly. So I don't need to adjust them, but I will tighten them. So let's eject the tape. There's the tape out. There should be a couple of little keepers on the back of these guides here that I'm just going to adjust, tighten them up a bit. They're tiny little screws. I use my microscopic screwdriver for it. Like this green one will do the job. I should be able to just tighten these guides up, or tighten up the lock screws a little bit here. This will prevent the guide from turning easily. And now it's tight. Same with on this side over here. Oops. That one's not tight yet. Hard to see what I'm doing. There we go. There. Oops. There. Now it won't easily turn. See? Now it's locked into place. And it's playing pretty much perfect. And once I put the top cover on, see, you've got a little guide to where all the circuit boards and stuff are. Once I put the top cover on, it will completely shield it from the plasma, and the picture is great. Before I do that though, I want to just throw the scope on it to verify that the tape path is good. But likely this machine will become a machine that I use for recovering people's tapes. So I don't have to keep tweaking my EVW or EVS 7000. Yeah, we're close. I will make it perfect, but we are close. So we just tweak the guides ever so slightly. There we go. That's pretty darn good. Close enough for me. So there we have it. Sony. This is an EV C3 8mm VTR, video tape recorder, video cassette recorder, whatever you want to call it. It is now totally restored and turning out an excellent picture. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one real soon. Bye for now.